There are many things that annoy me and that have been annoying me, particularly in this specific moment in time. But definitely one of the things that hits close to home when it comes to me cringing is anti-Christians telling us what Christians are supposed to do or say. Now, of course, due to my specific choice of topic, there will be the usual people in the comments that are going to come here specifically to say, oh, you're so oppressed. You're such a victim. Typical Christian victim complex. And that kind of gaslighting. Thing is, though, gaslighting doesn't work on us anymore. One, because I know the history, and we Christians have been specifically harassed and persecuted since day one. Day one. And for anyone who's going to try and deny that, I have a dedicated video on ancient Roman persecution of Christians with all the historical facts, with the sources. Link in the description. Even though this is something that is specifically connected to our religion at this point, we will be persecuted for it. In this specific time period, I find it so revealing that people will continue to try and deny it. Why? Well, first and foremost, because they, the radical, leftist, militant, atheist type, I like being specific, will deny it because, one, all they care about is persecuting you anyway, so they want you to not be able to complain about their persecution. But the reality is that it doesn't fit into their oppressor-oppressed dichotomy. Because, I mean, if you're a white Christian, you're not supposed to be unoppressed. And so when you are oppressed, that very undeniable event will make their entire worldview collapse. So there's that. But the reason why I find it incredible today is because it's so easy to see that they are lying. I mean, look at what's happening in Nigeria with the tens of thousands of Christians that are being persecuted and killed every single day. No one is talking about it. No one is talking about it. Do you want to go tell them that they are not being persecuted? Specifically for their faith? What about the Christian children that are being targeted? What about those? No, they'll tell you it doesn't happen. They have the goal to tell you that this is a Christian victimhood and it's not happening. And they will laugh at you. No, they will deny it to your very face in front of empirical evidence. Because the reality is that they love it. That's what they want. And since we're talking about irrefutable evidence, I have another one. And this one is a little bit of a thought exercise. You know, I'm fond of those. But it is based on actual demonstrable reality. Think about it this way. I've watched a few videos from left-wing content creators that have been pushing the idea of Islamophobia is bigotry. Exact words. And you will find this kind of philosophy, if you really want to call it that way, all over Reddit. Blue Sky, oh, they love it. It's clearly nonsense, but let's have a closer look at this from a logical perspective. Leftists tell us that Islamophobia is bigotry. Yet, I have never, ever heard a leftist say that Christianophobia is bigotry or Christophobia. And yes, that's a term. It is a term. I didn't make it up. Christianophobia, Christophobia, anti-Christian sentiment, also referred to as Christianophobia. Christophobia is the fear, hatred, discrimination, or prejudice against Christians. Can we remove fear from phobia, please? Because that's the etymological origins. But in the political context, we should, and culture wars, we should remove fear as one of the interpretations of phobia. Because yes, if I have arachnophobia, it means I have fear of spiders. None of the phobias that are used in the political sense mean being afraid of. Personally, like for people to stop using this when talking about phobias within the culture war, because I mean, come on. Anyways, but as you can see here, Christophobia doesn't exist, and it's a word made up, they say, on Reddit. So as you can see, they tell you it doesn't exist, and it's disgusting. So Islamophobia exists, but Christophobia or Christianophobia, no, it doesn't exist. They tell you it doesn't exist. Reddit is hell. Not the first time they do this, by the way. You know what other thing they say doesn't exist? Racism against white people. They tell you it doesn't exist. But racism towards anything that isn't white, oh yeah, absolutely. They told us that white people don't exist. White people don't exist. Yet, all they talk about and complain of is white people. I have a dedicated debunking video on that. And if you are a new viewer and you haven't watched that one, you have to watch it. You're gonna love it. And I mean it. It's this one here. White people don't exist. Culture, politics, and social construct from 2 years ago. You gotta check it out. I annihilate them from a logical perspective with facts and linguistics as well. You're gonna freaking love it. I'll see you in the comments of that one. I'll monitor it for the first couple of days. They also told us that white people have no culture. There's no such a thing as white people's culture, and so on and so forth. So this is a pattern. It's always rules for thee, not for me. It's always when you do it, bad, but when I do it, it doesn't exist. I also want to show you one thing though. I'm on my X account, right? Look at this. Islamophobia. No problem. System has no problems with it. And Christianophobia exist. Look, it marks it. All right, let's see if I do Christophobia. Marks it. So Islamophobia exists according to this. Can we add this term, please? Because it absolutely exists as a phenomenon. And this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. What if I write, I guess I have to write it, anti-Christian sentiment. This one at least, it doesn't mark it red. But it's ridiculous. Of course it exists. What are you on about? Do you want to tell once again the children that are on the floor now, a few meters under the earth? Or the people in Nigeria? Yeah. Discard, I guess. There is a post I made a while ago, August 27, that I wanted to share with you. I say just yesterday, one of my haters was trying to gaslight us under my post about Christianophobia. I stated the fact that anti-Christian sentiment is never called out by the people who consider Islamophobia bigotry. He said, open quotes, Christians are not experiencing any hate in the West, close quotes. To them I said, say the names of the dead children in the Catholic school, you liar. Say their names. No more gaslighting, no more lies. And then I showed this disgusting piece of scum over here. And I'm not the only one, as you see. I'm not the only one. Marmite asks, I hear the term Islamophobia thrown around a lot. We'll see why. But never hear the term Christianophobia. Apparently Christianophobia is a significant global issue. So why is it not being addressed? And that is a fantastic question. That is an absolutely fantastic question. I also want to check out this AI overview, because in Islamophobia they say it's the irrational fear of hostility towards or hatred against Islam and Muslims, often manifesting as discrimination, prejudice and violence against individuals or groups perceived as Muslim or of a Muslim background. But on the Christianophobia, AI tells us Christianophobia refers to the fear, prejudice, discrimination or hatred directed against Christians and the Christian religion. It doesn't tell us it's irrational though. What on earth? What on earth? Really? Unbelievable. I'm going to try. I need to try with AI. I want to see what the language models say. Let's go to Gemini AI. I got to test this. What is Islamophobia? I need to check this. Islamophobia is generally defined as the irrational fear, there you go, hostility towards, hatred towards religion and Muslims. All right? Look, a form of bigotry and racism. Excuse me, AI, but Islam is not a race. You can be a Muslim and be any color, ethnicity, whatever. So that already. Systemic issues, apparently. Systemic issues, really. Targetly Muslimness, that's not a term. The term emphasizes that the hostility is directed not just at religious practice or at perceived group identity, often led to real-world discrimination and violence. All right. Now let me see. What is Christianophobia? Let's have a look. Yeah, it doesn't say it's irrational. So it's not irrational when it's Christians. I guess it's rational to hate Christians. That's what I have to get. Let's see. It encompasses all forms of intolerance and hostility towards Christians and their beliefs. Christianophobia manifests in various ways across different regions of the world, often depending on whether Christians are a majority or a minority group. Hate crimes and violence. So look, even this, like, are you trying to say it's not systemic? Or like, whatever. Hate crimes includes physical assault. Okay, thank you for saying that. Vandalism, desecration. But it's not bigotry. It's not bigotry. Look. It's not big. It's only bigotry if it's... This is disgusting. Gemini AI is a left-wing swamp. In minority context, let's see, Africa, a Christian community often face extreme persecution, including organized violence, forced conversions, legal discrimination, state suppression, frequently perpetrated by extremist groups. You can tell, you can say who the extremists are, but anyways, in Western context, while physical violence and government-sanctioned persecution are less common than in other regions, hostility can be observed in the form of widespread vandalism of church, discrimination against individuals holding traditional Christian views in professional settings, and the aggressive marginalization of Christian voices in the public discourse. So you're denying the Christians being shot dead? Unbelievable. But what did you expect? I mean, look... We already knew this. I have a whole video. I know I'm mentioning a lot of my videos, but I have a whole video where I systematically attack and scrutinize Gemini AI answers, and it clearly has an agenda. We know that. We know that. It was worse before, but it's still bad right now. But this is unbelievable. Now, why is this happening? It's quite clear. Because the only reason why leftists are so strongly in alliance with the Muslims is a matter of power balance redistribution and voter projection analysis. That's what it is. So they get in a lot of immigrants. These immigrants tend to be Muslims. They want these immigrants in so that they can be quickly turned into citizens and they can start voting for the left. That's all there is to it. It has, make no mistake, it has nothing to do with caring about minorities and whatnot, although then again, if it continues this way, it definitely will not be a minority in England, I can tell you that much. But it has nothing to do with that. It's just about, well, if we let them in and we kind of support them, then they will vote for us. That's all there is to it. Islam goes against almost everything the left pretends to defend. Feminism, for instance, is a great example, but I'll make a dedicated video for it. How you can be a left-wing feminist and support Islam and say that complaining about Islam is a form of bigotry, even though, in comparison, the most conservative fundamentalist Christian looks like a woman's ally in comparison to what people do in Islamic countries to women. It is such an obvious, logical inconsistency, but they don't care. And that's the only reason. It's just a matter of voting and spiting the right, because at the end of the day, this is what you get in a bipartisan system. This is what you get in a bipartisan system. If people on the right like red, then people on the left needs to hate red. If people on the right like Hadouken, then people on the left need to support Shoryuken. If people on the right are all for you, then the left needs to support Ken. And this is a problem because eventually you will get to situations that are going to be logically inconsistent within the thought pattern. That's what's going to happen. Because if the right wing has a problem with Islam, which often it does, then the left wing has to support Islam. Problem is, Islam is not supportive of gay people, is not supporting of all LGBT, is not supporting of feminists and women in general, never mind votes for it. Like, can you? But it doesn't matter to them, because the only reason they are doing it is because the other side is against it. So you need to get those votes that hate that kind of positioning on the other side. This is all there is to it. All there is to it. And probably some monetary gains in certain sectors, but in general, that's my analysis. Which is why Christianophobia is not a form of bigotry. Islamophobia, absolutely it is. Clowns. If you appreciate my content so far and wish to help ensure my ability to continue to tell it how it is, regardless of any possible backlash, please support this channel on Patreon. Any support helps me and my team of academics keep the channel strong and gives us the means to fight back against the political rewriting of history. Stand with us, form the wall, defend the truth.